Today's podcast was recorded at the 2022 Green Industry Hype House in Tampa, Florida. This year's Hype House is sponsored by the Hardscape Academy and the L'Entrepreneur Academy. Caleb and Brittany Allman invite you to visit the hardscapeacademy.com, where you'll find on-demand video courses and workshops. It's educational training to help you optimize your time, resources, and make more money. L'Entrepreneuracademy.com, started by Brian and Liz Fullerton, is dedicated to giving lawn care professionals all of the content and resources needed to reach more customers, grow your business, and be more successful. Enjoy today's podcast, and remember to check out both the Hardscape Academy and the L'Entrepreneur Academy.
You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. It is your host, Brian Fullerton, here hanging with you guys. And today we are down in beautiful Tampa, Florida at the 2022 Green Industry Hype House, brought to you by L'Entrepreneur Academy and the Hardscape Academy. We're actually over here on level 2 of the Hype House. We're inside hanging right now with my beautiful wifey for lifey. How we doing, babe?
Good.
Awesome. What's baby Emmy doing over there? Is she waking up?
She's waking up, so I might not last very long at this podcast, but we'll see.
We'll see where it goes. And then we also have Jeremiah and Savannah Jennings. They are married, because the first time I did this, I said they were engaged, but that's not true. But that's the last time I got probably to see you guys, honestly. It's been a little bit of
both of us,
That's awesome. How long have you guys been married now?
2 years, almost 2 years.
Yeah.
Jeez, Pete, what the heck, man? Time is flying.
We're getting old.
Seriously, like the babies just turned 6 months yesterday. These guys are, going on 35 and 10 years of marriage. Any which way.
Yeah.
Give these guys maybe just the highlight reel, Jeremiah. You're no stranger to podcasting, so take it away. Where are you guys from? What do you guys do? How's business going? And any life updates, man?
Yeah, so like you said, Jeremiah Jennings and Savannah is my wife here joining us. I run Growing Green Landscapes out of Birmingham, Alabama, as Brian opens it, Coke in the background.
There you go. I'm a professional.
Yeah.
It's unfiltered, unscripted.
I run and own and operate Growing Green Landscapes out of Birmingham, Alabama, and it's just a lawn maintenance company. That's what we do mostly. We do some light softscapes and some installs and stuff, but this is going to be my 4th year in business doing that. But as far as podcasting goes, I started a podcast back in June, I think it was. Just Growing Green Landscapes podcast is the name of it. You can find it on all major podcast platforms. But we really discuss just entrepreneurship and just guys that are young in business and some things that I wish I would have known when I started out. Just kind of giving back to the community a little bit. But
are you guys both 22, 23?
I'll actually be 24 next month. So
okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm 22.
Yeah, there you go. Dating the older ladies. There you go.
That's
Jeremiah.
right.
That's right. There's a cougar out there, man. That's awesome. How did you guys meet? What's the love story, by the way? Because you guys have been just a young, fresh couple that are kicking butt and growing companies, and like you said, contributing to social media. So it's really cool. But I don't know if Liz and I really even know your guys' full story. No. So how did you guys meet?
So, oh man,
how did you get this cougar? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it goes back. It goes back to high school. I think we set, what was it?
Well, let's get Savannah to tell this story, because this will be the real.
But I think 7 years. We just hit our 7-year friendship on Facebook, didn't we?
Good Lord. That's so cute. There's got to be like a time hop for that.
I know. It gave us some crazy pictures from quite a long time ago.
7 years ago.
Yeah.
You guys were like 12 or something?
Yeah.
Basically.
Feels like it. But
Jim was like, kind of, actually. He's like, darn it, they got me.
Yeah. We weren't even driving yet, literally.
Wow.
Not when we first met.
Is that high
so
school?
You met in school?
Yeah. We were both homeschooled and played sports through an organization near us.
Okay.
And we were friends first. Like, he came, I think it was my junior year. Obviously, you were just freshmen, but we were just friends. We were friends for almost 4 years, I think, before we started dating. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Friends started dating when I was a freshman in college, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
She had a younger brother that I became friends with,
Yeah,
so he
that's-
quickly turned into my
Yeah.
excuse to go to their house. Like,
Okay.
go to see
know.
Stuart.
Yeah.
Not really going to see Stuart.
Dude, you date my sister. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
He didn't know at the time though. So
Oh,
it was-
really? Yeah, that's funny right there.
Yeah, it was kind of
So,
playing him.
were you were in like high school or homeschool, high school, whatever level
Yeah.
that is, and then you're like, hey, I'm dating this college chick, you know? this-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was. She was coming from college to watch our basketball game senior
I
year.
was. I was.
So it was,
That's wholesome.
yeah.
And where are you guys from right now?
Birmingham, Alabama.
Birmingham. Where is that in like relation to the state? You guys in the central or
Central.
Central. Okay. How's the season going up there? Is it this time of year probably 40s and 50s, or do you guys say like 60 year round?
No. It gets cold. Well, cold for us. I mean, it's right now. It's the highs are mid 40s.
Okay.
Low to mid 40s.
Yeah.
Lows in the 20s. So
Yeah.
it gets pretty chilly.
What do you guys think about Tampa and Siesta Key so far?
Oh,
This
it's
is beautiful.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful. We were just out there
Weather's
walking on the
gorgeous.
beach, and it was like, this is where I'll be
Yeah.
next year in January. I'll be coming and making a trip. So.
Amen to that.
It's-
Amen. You guys flew into Tampa, and then you guys were taking photos. You guys were doing a bunch of fun life stuff. Tell us what's new in the last couple of years. So you got the podcast, business is booming. Savannah, you have a career, right? As well?
Yeah, I'm a pediatric nurse. So
Pediatric nurse.
I've
Oh,
been
that's cool.
working in the hospital for almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years this summer. So
Okay.
yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. I am actually kind of transitioning into like a pediatric office setting, so I won't be working as crazy hours as I have been.
Cool.
But I like it a lot.
So you guys, you run the business, and how many guys do you have working for you? You were saying earlier.
Yeah, so during the summer, I keep 3 to 4. Right now, I keep 1 year round. I coach the program that we played in. I coach the basketball team now, and
I remember that.
so I get to pull high schoolers up and work with me through the summer.
So you got like a
works
labor
out.
pool.
Yeah.
That's actually that's a good.
Oh, it's very nice.
That's a smart life hack.
Yeah.
Get a bunch of 17, 18, 19-year-old kids.
Every year, it never fails. Somebody wants to come to work. We're still in the middle of the season right now, and kid was asking me the other night after practice. He was like, "So when am I getting back out there?"
No kid.
Yeah. So
That's actually really smart, babe. That's actually really smart. Now, for Liz and I, talk about roles and wearing different hats, and huge transition when we got engaged and married, because she's like, well, how do I fit into the business, and what do we do, and what do I not do, and I'm as a dude thinking, how do I include her? I've been building this thing for back then 10 years.
Yeah.
So it's been a struggle is probably the best.
It's always evolving, I feel like.
Yeah.
I used to work and really wasn't able to do very much with the business. And then I went full time in our business, and it was kind of like you had a hard time giving up things for me to do because you
Yeah.
had done it for yourself for so long.
Yeah.
And then now having the baby, I do less than I used to. Like, it's just, so what does it look like for you guys? Do you help with stuff, or do you like the back end? Because that was kind of my jam before.
Yeah.
just a little bit. I mean,
Well,
I think it's
I mean,
kind of the same boat though. She
Yeah.
has a full-time career outside of this business.
Yeah.
So
It's
Yep.
hard to like, you basically would be working
Right.
2 jobs
Yeah,
at
no,
that
no,
point.
no.
Yeah.
There's no right or wrong answer. I think that's like the tough thing that's portrayed sometimes on social media. It's like, well, this person's all in, and this person's kind of half and half, and the other person's like, hey, I do this, and this is my thing, and she does this, and this is her thing. But our financial goals and family goals are, aligned to get us to the end goal with these two things. So no right or wrong answer, but
everyone has a different story.
absolutely, yeah.
Everybody goes through something different.
So Savannah at 6:00 has a steak dinner ready for you. Obviously, is what I'm picking up.
Oh yeah, every night.
No, because most of the time I'm fending for myself. She
Yeah,
works like
that's why I'm
the
changing
second
jobs.
shift right now.
Oh,
so-
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So he's coming in, and you're rushing out the door.
Yeah,
Or-
pretty much. If we even see each other, yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome. That's not awesome.
Yeah,
you
it's
said-
not awesome.
I mean, the schedule you're changing to
Yes.
sounds more.
we'll allow for a steak dinner every night.
Oh.
So,
Yeah.
Is that
Thinking
in writing,
about
or do we get that? Like,
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Is
Send
that
this back to-
contractual? Like,
yeah, episode 285.
Yeah.
You said at minute 13. That's really really cool. So talk about life changing for you guys the last 2-3 years, because how long has Growing Green been around then?
So, funny. I mean, I've told this on multiple podcasts, but it's actually like a 50-year-old business. I mean, the one that I'm running. So I bought it from the guy that I was working with.
Yeah.
In high school, he was just doing it to pay his way through college. But he had bought it from the guy that he worked with in high school, and that guy had it from his dad, who had it for 25 years.
always evolving.
So it's
Wow.
and I still have some of those original customers. Some of those customers that the dad started with.
No
And,
way.
Yeah, it's
That's
been a
so
process.
cool.
Wow.
It's been a very long process, but I bought it, and this is like year 4 now. This is year 4 for me.
Okay.
And Growing Green Landscapes. It was never called that. I started that when I started the company, but
Yeah.
it's definitely evolved. When me and my buddy were doing it, we were doing like 25 to 30 yards. He was just paying his way through college.
Okay.
He was just trying to make some money. I was just trying to make money through high school, gas money, date money, whatever.
Subway.
Yeah.
$5, man. $10
Yeah.
goes a long way.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
There's no more $5 sub foot longs anymore.
No, everything's $8, $9, $10, $12.
It's insane.
Crazy.
Chipotle for $7.75. I never leave there without spending $13.50.
Yeah.
I know.
And then $18 when you had like a chips and a pop. It's just, it's crazy. I went to Penn Station the other day. Do you guys have Penn Stations, the East Coast subs? It's like a Jersey Mike's or whatever.
Oh yeah,
Jersey
Jersey Mike's.
Mike's.
Like that. Well, there's branding for Jersey Mike's. I like Penn Station, really, really good food. But like, I got a sandwich and a fry and a pop for both me, my wife, and her mom, who comes over during the day to help with the baby. It was like $54.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I was like,
For
insane.
sandwiches.
I was like,
Yeah,
sandwiches.
right.
Crazy.
I was like, okay, I think we're gonna stop eating out. And
There's a bread shortage, I guess. I mean, there's always something.
I don't know. Maybe it was $4 for the extra slice of cheese I asked for, but I don't know. So the business has been around for quite a while. So how have you? Did you always have the business when you met Savannah, or did you have it shortly thereafter? I guess you guys started dating for 7 years now. So how have you seen her, or Savannah? How have you seen him grow with the company, and how have you guys transitioned roles? And are you like, hey, he's like, hey, I can't do date night tonight because I got to mow grass.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So when we were first friends and started dating, again, he was just working for this guy. So
Yeah.
I feel like I really have been there since the beginning of seeing him kind of come into this, like, no, I want to take this thing and I want to run with it and I want this to be my career, and being like, okay, well, I'm on board. Let's go. So
Yeah.
I feel like I've definitely been there for the beginning, and just kind of seeing him evolve and decide, I think we're going to go this direction, and then make, lots of troubleshooting and figuring out what his
Calling.
niche is and where he feels like this is what he wants his company to be. So
That's
it's been
cool.
a lot of that over the past couple of years.
Has there been any like argument or frustration or conversation like this isn't working, or we want to keep going with it, or have you guys been like challenging each other? Because you seem like you had your career kind of picked out.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
probably not a lot of variety there.
Yeah. I feel like, not maybe arguments, maybe some frustration as far as part of, me having my career and not being in it every day and being like, it doesn't look like this is working. Like, maybe we need to switch gears, and Jeremiah being like, no, I think we need to stick it out. I think it's going to work, or whatever. So there definitely has been some of that we've worked through, but he's usually been right about it. I'll say that.
I'm just having an honest conversation. No right or wrong answer. We've had all those conversations. Like, hey, I got to buy a mower. It's $15,000, and she's like, didn't you just buy a mower?
Oh, we've had many of those.
Right. Jeremiah, how do you handle those conversations? What did it look like for you guys?
Here's my key.
Is that you?
She was like, get me out of here.
We're losing one of the mics here with Liz. Is she on mic 1? Go ahead, Jeremiah. Keep talking for me.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, I think we got you guys. Hopefully we didn't cut off Savannah, but
Oh yeah, Savannah's gone.
are you gone right now?
Yep.
Oh, there you go. So I'm not sure. We're just
I
gonna
think
leave
she's on 2 because I'm on 4.
We're gonna leave it on 2. All right. Well, how about every mic check?
I think I'm here.
There you go.
All right, babe, you good? All right, I love you. I was talking to Emmy. You're hot too. You're hot too. Come here, baby. Don't be surprised 9-10 months from now you got a little baby siesta, but just kidding right there.
Yeah.
Everybody, here's $20. Go to the movies. Just kidding. But
Clear the house.
those are right. Those are tough conversations, because I remember all the time like, I gotta go buy a $15,000 this, and she's like, I thought you just bought a mower 2 minutes ago, and I'm like, yeah, like we already burned up the engine. It's got 1,500 hours on it. She's like, okay, and I'm like, yeah, I gotta buy another mower. She's like, well, we don't have the money for it. I'm like, right, I know.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Gotta do it though.
I'm like, this isn't working either for how I thought it was. And so that was a tough, because we've been together for, 9 years, married for 7. And so Liz has been with me since like, the business was struggling. Then it finally kind of got over a hump, and then it started to be profitable. But man, it was some tough conversations when we were literally robbing Peter to pay Paul. We were taking her paychecks to pay our payroll until a month later we'd get paid, and then the business would finally have some money in it.
Yeah.
And so
that's totally relatable. We were talking about that. And I don't know, I don't want to turn this podcast into like a Together in the Trades podcast, but I think it's why it's so important to have an event like that. And,
sure.
We've already been discussing that while we've been down here, and some topics and things, and that's going to be a huge event. I mean, if you don't know about it, you should definitely check it out. But,
it's a marriage conference we do in the summertime with the Almonds. Another really, really great event. We go and we learn. I mean, we're not
absolutely.
We're hosting it, but I'm just hosting it so we can bring other professionals in. So with Liz and I can like work on our marriage together because
Yeah.
it never ends. You got to continuously work on it.
Yeah, it's just so key. Communication is such a big thing in marriage,
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
going back to those beginning days, we were talking about financing and all this stuff. And
Yeah.
I remember there was a day when I was, and I say I remember when there was a day, 13, 14 months ago, there was a day when I was taking out of our personal money to pay business bills.
Sure.
and that was tough on our marriage, and that takes a strain. Like you're saying, you're taking from Liz's paycheck to put money towards your stuff, and she's like, I worked for that. She worked late at B-Dubs for those checks.
100%.
And that can cause some stress in marriage.
Yep. But it's went full circle now because now she gets all of it. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be worth
It's
it.
the whole like, just stick with me. I'm gonna make it work.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
thank God, like the pendulum has swung, right? Well, let me ask you this: where are you guys at right now with the company? Where are things going? Where are you guys at in life? Where are things going? You guys got your own house? You guys renting? Where are you guys at? Give us some life updates.
Yeah. So, I mean, life-wise, business is doing well. It's very healthy right now. We had a very healthy 2021.
Okay, cool.
Even it kind of turned into
All things
to a
considered.
Yeah, it kind of turned into a survival year after my hand
Yeah.
my hand injury, and
That was, last
May.
year.
Yeah, that was in
May,
May.
yeah.
Wow.
Beginning of the season.
So when I saw you in June or
At
whatever.
in Texas, yeah, it was like fresh.
Wow.
And we were still wrapped up. It was still in that cast.
Yeah.
and,
Yeah. I was such a dick. I came over like I'm like high five.
and I was.
and you were like,
Yeah, it's on YouTube. You can go find that. Go back to
Did-
Together in the Trade.
did you have
That
a clip of
video is
that?
on there. Yeah.
I'm awful like that. I don't know. So I'm socially awkward. I was just like high five, and you're like, okay. And
Yeah, I didn't even process it.
I didn't either. You were just like, sure, dude.
Yeah.
But like so you had a head trimming accident,
Yes.
sliced a couple fingers.
Yeah.
If you guys don't know Jeremiah's story, we talked about it in a couple other podcasts, but yeah.
And there's going to be a YouTube video. I think we're going to do a YouTube video with Blake. So
Blake.
check it out on,
Yeah.
what is that?
B&B Lawn Care?
Yeah, B&B Lawn Care on
That's
YouTube.
cool. So that was fresh. So
Yeah.
so what did you guys do to finish the year strong? Did you get some extra help
I
or
pulled in a bunch of 17, 18-year-olds that played
Yeah.
basketball.
That's smart.
Yeah.
It totally was survival because you had bought the truck.
Yeah.
Like
It was a
month
big-
before our brand new, he had, finally pulled the trigger and made this investment in the truck, and then he hurt his hand. So he wasn't even able to work for so long. So we also had the added expense of paying these extra people and the truck payment. So
Wow.
it was a crazy, crazy summer, but
What did it look like day by day, like minute to minute? Like were you
So day by day, it was
yeah.
literally, I mean, the first 2 weeks were, I did not go out. I mean, I was sitting in the house the first week. So I had emergency surgery the day one, and then the next week I had to sit there because they only were able to fix one of the fingers that day. I had to wait another week to have another surgery. So that week,
Wow.
sat there with my hand in a cast, didn't even look at it, didn't open it.
It's gotta be frustrating.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
terrible, yeah.
was a lot of
I just sat there and
waiting.
waited.
What was your thought process? Like were you like, okay, like do I hang up the business? Do I call my
No,
customers?
that was never an option.
Yeah, I was gonna
that
say-
was never an option. I mean
Yeah.
the business is what I don't live for the business, but it's a big passion. I
Yeah.
mean, and it's our income too. So
100%.
So I mean, that was never an option to hang it up, but we definitely had to adjust. We had to figure out. We had to reroute some things and
Was it some new
change the game plan.
Was it some new firsts for you? Like
Oh, yeah.
like you said, hiring, or did you have crews before and guys going out before?
Yeah, I had guys up before.
But you got some new people in there, and that was a little tough on one of your guys, I think, having to kind of train them and oversee them. And
Yeah.
because
Right.
I don't think he was totally used to that.
No, and he's still not to that point. He's like, we're in that stage right now where we're trying to decide if he wants to go to a foreman position or if he wants to just stay a helper. And
Sure.
he got kind of thrown into it, and
Yeah.
he kept our business alive.
And he did
Seriously.
great.
Sure.
I mean, it couldn't have gone any better. I don't think I ever had one callback.
Okay.
That whole time.
Cool.
So that was very good because he hadn't even like driven the truck and trailer much.
Right.
And it was like, oh, here you go. I mean,
Yeah.
here's the keys. Take
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was out for 2 weeks, and then when it's your business, it's your baby.
Yeah.
You got to take care of your family. So I disobeyed doctor's orders, and I was back out there in
On the
3
mower
weeks
and, like,
on the mower.
Doing the one hand thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You
You're
know, doing the
trying to-
one-handed thing. and
We been
I
there,
was
bro.
I was weed eating with one hand at some points. I was edging with one hand. I'd flip it over. And
Did you have like a sling or something, or
no, I just held it.
You did have a sling. We got you a sling.
Yeah,
for a
but
while.
I never wore that.
yeah?
thing.
2 months
It
later, you
got
got
in the
this
way.
like giant like
Yeah,
bicep. The other
yeah.
one's like this little skinny arm.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you gotta do what you
Oh,
gotta
it
do.
was.
Yeah.
Seriously, my right hand was and like push mowing. We do some push mowing, and
Yeah.
push mowing with that right hand. Man,
You
it
should have
sore.
got like a Velcro strap, so like on your forearm at least.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you're just like that crazy like Mortal Kombat character
Yeah.
that's got like a weed whip on the end. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
I got pretty good with one-handed operations. So that was the beginning. That first month that's pretty much what it was entailed. And
Wow.
Yeah, you even got me out there.
yeah, Savannah got out there
Planting
planning
beds.
some
I was gonna
annuals and
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were you thinking? Like, oh my God, like my were you fiance or husband by then?
we were
We were
married.
married.
We were married
Yeah.
2 years.
Yeah. So 2 years, right? Timestamp.
Yep.
So what were you thinking?
Well, my initial reaction also was, just really just nervous he was going to lose his hand. We didn't know what had happened, but then I was like, okay, this is my chance to like really step up and tell him like, hey, I'm here. Like, I'm going to help you.
Yeah.
In whatever way I can. And at that point, it truly was me going out there when I could, when I was off work, kind
Yeah.
of helping with beds and different
Yeah, spreading
stuff
some
like
pine
that.
straws.
Yeah, we did a bunch of that stuff.
awesome.
So I knew that was an opportunity for me to show up for him and say like, the business is important to me too. I'm going to do what I can
Yep.
to help take some things off your plate right now.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
And it created a lot of stress. I mean, that was
yeah,
a big.
it was.
There
yeah.
was 3-4 months. There was probably one of the most stressful points of my life. It was pretty rough.
Well, because not only did you have, the business, you were in therapy, and we still don't even know if he would have function of that hand. It's
Yeah.
his dominant hand. So we're
Right.
like, are we even going to be able to continue this, even if we get through the summer? Like,
Wow.
yeah, craziness.
So then a month later, you're like, hey, I'm going to Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's like a crazy commitment though too. Like you guys, and maybe it was as grandiose as like we're doing this thing or we're going, or maybe it was like, hey, we're just going on a prayer. Like we're stupid, but let's just go. Like we should stay home and
It was a little
take
bit
the
of
medicine and-
both, honestly. Like we were committed to it, and we were also like, is this the best thing to do?
Yeah.
oh yeah.
But no,
Oh, yeah.
we
And
were
leaving the
sticking
guys home to
it.
work. I mean,
Yeah.
that was a big thing.
I mean, we're here right now, and we got a good 6 to 9 inches of wet slush concrete snow back
Mm-hmm.
at home. And I told Liz, I'm like, should I be heading back like on Tuesday? And
Yeah.
and we're like, we only have the one truck, the one setup, and a couple guys that they all know what to do. I
Yeah.
mean, like, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure this is exactly why they're there to get
Yeah.
paid.
Right.
This is what they do. But at the same point, you're kind of like, I don't know, like what's the right answer,
It's
right?
a weird stage to be at. I mean, because in your point, in your case, you have trained Rob and the other guys to
Yeah.
help out and show up and do what they need to do. But it's still, you've been pretty hands-on in your business for the last,
15, 16
yeah.
years. Yeah.
I mean, you're in that stage where you're like transitioning out and
Well,
a little bit. I mean,
yeah, the idea
giving up some more responsibilities. So.
100%. The idea this year is to not have to be on the mow crew and let Rob and another guy we're hiring, his name is Mark, they should be able to tackle that whole crew and like you said, from weeding to flowers to mulch to this to that. I'll probably help in the spring with mulch and all that mess
Yeah.
because there's a lot of mulch to move. But yeah, somebody said it on a podcast a day or two ago we were doing, and maybe it was Caleb or somebody, and he said, even if you want to be in the business, you should still strive to not have to be in the business.
Absolutely.
And even if you're an owner operator,
Even if you want to be in it, not because you have to be.
100%. And he said have systems in place and your customer data in a good CRM and like a good schedule. So that way, like if you were mangled up, like you were with your hand,
Yeah.
you could at least give your calendar or your schedule to Savannah and say, hey, these are the customers that get cut every day.
Yeah.
Give this to the guys, or you know what I mean? And then, hey, here's how billing works. And if even if you have to like look over her shoulder, but you could charge card on file or send an invoice or whatever. At least that's something that we still are trying to work with Liz more to, do the billing or whatnot. If I ever am incapacitated or whatever, as minor
But
as
you
a
never
major.
know what can happen. I mean, that's the
Never
thing.
know.
It's
Yeah.
literally in a second, you could be
Yeah.
messed up and never be able to do it again.
Absolutely.
So what kind of systems do you have in place?
I think about that all the time. I'm a big life insurance guy as well, big disability insurance kind of guy. Like I always tell people, like get your ducks in a row for like worst case scenario.
Yeah.
And I'm like a melancholy detail guy, so my brain unfortunately thinks like negative first, positive second.
Yeah.
And
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
so I'm always like, oh, what if this happens? Worst case scenario. And I've had to train my brain a lot to think positive first and negative second. But I'm always thinking like, I don't know, man. Like, what about this and this? And that's why we're not building the house just yet. For example, like we want to just wait another 6 or 9 more months. Like, what if the worst case scenario happened? We would probably get clocked.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's just make sure that doesn't happen.
Right.
We were at Jordan Peterson's event last night. Caleb and I went, and he said,
Hi, it's Mr. Producer, and these days I wish I was a producer of gas. Maybe I should clarify, gasoline. Thanks to Joe Flation, prices at the pump are nuts. Everything costs more. Do you have a plan on how you're going to raise your rates this year? You don't? Well, that's okay, because the LaunchpreneurAcademy.com can help. Brian has a time-tested price adjustment letter that you can add your specific info to and then email or mail to your clients. The letter's only $49, but it's going to make you 7 to 12% more in profit this year. Scared money? Don't make no money. Now you don't have to be scared about how you're going to professionally communicate with your customers so you can remain profitable. The link for the price adjustment letter is in the show description.
We were at Jordan Peterson's event last night. Caleb and I went, and he said a really interesting thing. He said he was talking about a variety of topics, but down in New Orleans, he said that they built the levees down there for a 1 in 100 year storm.
Yeah.
And I guess the Dutch or whatever build their levees for a 1 in a 10,000 year storm that would decimate. Mm-hmm. So he goes, what happens every 100 years? New Orleans gets decimated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And he goes, so why don't you build your levee, your systems, your whatever's for that 1 in 10,000?
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, that's actually good stuff.
Yeah.
Because you're thinking, like if I get the flu, I can go mow with a head cold or a flu. But what happens if your hand is caught up and you can't do this and that?
And
that got me thinking, man.
And that's a tragic injury. But take it even more realistic in today's age. What if you get the vid and you're on a ventilator for a month or two?
Yeah.
Like, you don't ever know. I mean, it's you just never know what's going to happen. So
Absolutely.
if I'm in the hospital bed and you can't,
who's going to run the ship?
Exactly.
Yeah.
When I'm physically, I can't even say do this, do that. I'm laying there.
Yeah.
Trying to stay alive.
Well, and that's it goes full circle. Like it was kind of a small little breakthrough when I was at this lecture. I don't even know, whatever it was, with Jordan Peterson. Caleb Allman invited me to go with him, and I said sure. But like we were there, and I'm like, okay, the guys are out plowing. I've got a couple subcontractors that are plowing. I'm like, the podcast is doing this. The live stream is going on tonight. I'm like, got a bunch of like little systems in place. I'm like, wow, I'm actually like kind of free to like do whatever I want for at least this small window.
Yeah.
And I was like, that was not a story 2 years ago, let alone 5-10 years ago. But it's something that Liz and I we're still doing the same thing all you guys are doing. Like we're trying to grow our company and empower people and get systems in place and pay off equipment, just like everybody else.
Yeah.
And but it's always a work in progress. Always a work in progress.
And it would be something that I would say start immediately. Like you're how late are you? 10, 12 years behind where you should be. I mean
I've said 1,000 times. I feel like I'm 35, but I feel like I'm 19. But I'm just now doing lessons that I should have learned at 20, like at your guys' age. You know.
Yeah, and that if you
late bloomer is what we keep calling it.
So me and Paul did a podcast and talked about this. Is the floor should always be elevating. Like your ceiling is my floor.
Yes.
Well, in a year, my ceiling should be the next person's floor.
Yeah.
And then in the year after that the floor should just keep rising. So when you come in, when new people come into the industry or whatever, entrepreneurship in general, those principles should be implemented in your business. So you get to the point where you're not having to implement systems and be tied to your business in 10 years.
Yep.
In 2 years, you can be out of your business if you need to be.
Well, you say that literally, I say that all the time on our podcast. I'm like, you guys can chisel out what we've done in 10, 12, 15 years in 24 months.
Yeah.
Tops.
Yeah.
And I love the new normal of the Christians and the CNIs and all these younger kids back at home that are, 17 making $70,000.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, God, Lord.
Yeah.
Like, gosh darn. Which, by the way, that might just go full circle back to you with the podcast. And why are you doing all the social media stuff? You said you wanted a younger take and a younger perspective. I was listening to your podcast. I think you were just saying like it's nice hearing a 35-year-old all of us old farts talk about stuff.
Yeah.
But it's also cool to hear like a 20-year-old because you guys are more in the thick of it.
That's the thing is what I've said.
Which I agree.
What I've said from day one, and I've always said this, I'll say it right here to your face, and I would say it to Kelly, anybody. Y'all's advice is priceless because you get to say, we're 15 years into this thing, don't do this.
Yes.
Don't do that.
Yes.
But you didn't start a lawn care business 2 years ago.
Right.
You started it 15 years ago.
It's the good old like we forgot more than we know.
Exactly.
And like not arrogantly, but you know what I'm saying.
No, it's just real life.
Yeah. Because people are like, hey, how do you start up an LLC? And I'm like, I get a service. I filled out my own LLC 12 years ago, whatever it was. Yeah. But I'm like, dude, I don't even remember the forms.
Yeah, you don't remember how to do all that. And it's one of those things, it's just like, this is going to be year 4 full time for me. So for me, it's like
it's all fresh.
I'm still in the thick. I'm still in the card on file transition stage where I started my business the wrong way.
Sure.
I started on pen and paper, checks, cash, Venmo, PayPal, all that stuff.
Yes, sir.
And now I have a CRM. I have some cards on file, but I don't have all my cards on file.
Right.
So for those guys out there that are hearing y'all say card on file, which is good stuff because it's 100% true.
Right.
I can be the one to say, hey, look, card on file. I'll keep preaching it too.
Yeah.
But it's okay if you don't have it right now.
1,000%.
It's a process.
Yep.
You don't literally get everyone on there overnight. It's just not. It's not real life. It's not realistic.
And I hope people, like you said, glean that perspective from like our podcast, because we're still working on it too.
Yeah.
You know, like I just got mine on file 3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
But you're right. Like for you, you're like, yeah, I still gotta like, am I on Google My Business listing?
Literally.
You know,
Yeah.
you're like, I need to go double check that.
Like, do I have a tax ID number? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, am I still running under my social? Or like
Yeah.
all the little things that that are involved in running the business that people don't think about.
What do you think has been the most helpful content that you've put out for the younger guys? Like, what are they struggling with or learning from or appreciating your content with? What do you get requested more of? Is it business conversations, equipment conversations? What's working out there for you?
A lot of the stuff that people reach out to me about is employees is one. So
Yep.
it's kind of hard. I haven't been in it long enough. I'm not big enough to talk really employees. And I'm going to say from day one, I've said this, I'm not going to talk about things I don't know about. If I haven't personally gone through these things or I haven't researched heavily on it,
Yeah.
I'm not going to give advice on stuff that I don't know to talk about. So
Thank God.
I've talked about employees. I'm like, this is what works for me. This is what I've done.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. But employees has been a big one. Marketing has been a really big one that we've talked on.
What do you mean specifically with marketing? Like getting customers, probably?
Yeah, getting customers, and that's a big question: is how to get new customers, how to do this, how to do that. And obviously, we're partnered with Entrepreneur Academy, so we send them to Entrepreneur Academy, get the how to get new customers training course, like all that.
That's a good plug right there, Paul. You like that? It falls away. Trying to pay the bills around here. You know what I'm saying? No,
It's got to be done, but
it's actually a good program.
it's a great program.
I'm
and for anyone starting, it's just the things that I wish I would have known when I started.
amen to that.
Like I've got a podcast. I'm here at the Hype House. Like I'm honored to be here. I shouldn't be here. I'm honored.
We
to
actually
be
just
here.
wanted Savannah to be here.
Yeah, pretty much,
But
yeah.
it was like a 1-2 pack. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Exactly.
You got to buy one to get the other.
Package deal.
That's right. That's right.
Same thing with Jason Creel and Tracy. We just wanted
Everybody
Tracy.
wants Tracy.
They just want Liz.
I swear, when Tracy walked in the door, everybody like screamed. They were like, Tracy's here.
Tracy Creel is awesome. If you guys want to know Tracy Creel, that's Jason's wife. She's a saint. I think all the ladies just want to get together
Yeah.
and like, hey,
Yeah.
let's rope our bro, husbands into coming on down.
Get a beach trip out of it.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I think they're all playing us, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Probably pretty
We all
much.
think like we're the head, but they're the neck.
They're all,
like-
they all have their own little group chat.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
like,
Hey, I think we got about my husband's in. My husband's
Yeah.
in. All right, that's funny. Well, that's really really cool, man. I'm glad to. And I've always said, I to echo what you were just communicating, is that you can provide that hands on, boots in the ground, younger perspective.
Yeah.
Because man, I'm looking back and I'm like, man. I'm sure there's so many things I was learning at 20, 21, 22, 25 that I've totally forgot.
Yeah.
It was 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And I feel like I have a pretty sharp memory, but there's still like these little nuances or stories, and I'm like, I just don't remember.
Yeah.
And the last 4 or 5 years, drinking from the fire hose of YouTube and Instagram, like you said, in social media, I'm like, man, I got a lot to change, a lot to fix. But a lot of that, the smaller foundation stuff, we had already been doing for a decade, before I really was like, okay, we need to work on the business, maybe not in the business, all that kind of stuff. So,
but it just, everyone gets to a different level in their business to get to that point. Like
Yeah.
you can't work on your business literally day one. There's a point where you
No.
have to just go work in it, and
Yeah.
you have to build that clientele basis.
make a mess.
You have to you got to generate income.
Yeah.
You got to get things going.
Oh, yeah.
But then when that time comes, when you have to know when to start working on it. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You worked in it for too long
Way too long.
before you started working on it.
We were so proud of like the stripes and and all the working it, like you said. And then people are like, well, how's your employee handbook? I'm like, what
is that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like how are you? Oh, how's your tax status? How is your company tax? And I'm like, end of year.
Yeah.
Well, but what?
I pay it every year.
What
I don't
election
know.
status? I don't know. Totally, dude.
And there's people listening to this podcast, so you just said that, and they're like, what is this?
Absolutely. And then you start asking questions, and
Yeah.
you got to go down the rabbit hole.
But you have to the social media world is such a crazy thing, and it's all the guys that talk about like, I can't believe you're making money. I can't believe you're selling these courses and this. The amount of free stuff that's out there,
Oh yeah,
is just insane.
yeah. Everything we have on Entrepreneur Academy, you can find on YouTube.
Yes.
The difference now is that it's just distilled.
Yeah, it's hard. It's harder to get to.
Because your guys' time is worth money.
Yep.
So for me, if I'm like, 4 hours on YouTube and kind of getting soft shoe answers,
Yeah.
or
A
40,
legit hardcore course.
$49 to get the answer in 20 minutes. And why can't you put that on there? Because nobody watches it.
Yeah.
and you don't value it the same.
Yep,
You know?
absolutely.
Nobody values free advice the same thing as you value paid advice.
Nobody's going to sit down and watch a 40-minute video they didn't pay anything for. But
No.
if you pay $50 for it, I'm going to watch every bit of that 40 minutes, and I'm going to be tuned in.
And that's a fact because we've sold quite a few aeration courses. Everything I have in my aeration courses, it's not the same videos. I've reshot all different videos.
Yeah.
Right. But the exact same info is out on YouTube for free.
Yeah.
You just have to sift through, 40 aeration videos.
Yeah.
And it's like blah, blah,
But
blah.
it's free. You don't respect it the same way you do. It's like driving someone else's car, and when it's yours, you're going to really care.
Yeah.
Or cleaning up your room. When you live in your parents' house,
Yep.
your room is never as clean as it is when it's your house.
Absolutely.
In your own room.
It's funny you say that because I had never done a load of this sounds really bad. I never did like my laundry.
Yeah.
I never cleaned the house.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I mean, I did like probably the dishes and dishwashing, but we get an apartment and I turned into a clean freak.
That
Bro,
was me.
was that you?
I was like, I don't know who you are right now once we moved in together.
Like it was like I was
For
like,
real?
take a
Yeah.
step back here. This is crazy because that's not who I married.
Yeah.
Like-
well, not who he thought he did. But then we got our own house, and I was like, no, this is ours. We pay for it. It will be clean.
Oh my
The stuff
gosh.
will go where it goes.
Is that funny right there?
Yeah, well, it's not funny when you're up at 7 a.m. sweeping and dusting and everything else
appreciate
involved.
it.
You appreciate a clean home, I'm sure.
No, it is, and
Yeah.
and I love it. But it
I'm going to
just
blink if you're in trouble right now.
yeah, that's exactly right. But it's so true. When you pay for something, you respect it more than if you get something for free.
Yeah.
And
This is good. What's maybe like final like takeaway question? What's the most surprising thing you guys have learned working with each other, working with a business? Young couple, newlyweds, still probably a little in the honeymoon phase, which is great. So what's the biggest like lesson that you guys have for maybe younger couples listening in to work together with each other? No right or wrong answer.
I mean, mine would be, and I say it over and over and over and over again. And I'll continue to say it over and over again. Is communication is key.
What do you mean by communication?
In business and personal, you have to be able to separate business and personal. So
Sure.
you need to be able to talk business, and you need to be able to talk personal and leave the business aside. And you can't be bringing the business home at 11 o'clock at night every single night.
Sure.
You have to make time for your marriage,
Yep.
or even if it's not a marriage, it's a relationship. If you're dating and you're running a business, but you're dating someone.
Yep.
You need to make sure and prioritize that just as much, or if not more, than the business.
Do you guys do something specific, like a date night or a movie night, or?
It's been hard for us because our work schedule is so crazy. Should have anything
that's about
set.
to change.
She's the
Well,
problem. I get it.
I know. It's always me.
Things
Really
are definitely
is.
going to change. With this new job, she's going to have a really set schedule.
Sure.
So we will start probably date night here and there. And
That's cool.
Setting up some schedules and things. And I think the schedule and the routines
yeah.
are essential, because if you don't do that, it's never going to get done.
Well, we're routine people, so I think we're looking forward to that.
I think
but-
people live and die by their routines and their habits.
Yeah.
Liz and I incorporated date night, I don't know, a year and a half ago. And I look forward to it. Like, in fact, we did a date night. We did, because Kalfas was doing it.
Yeah.
And dude, Liz and I would just work hard. Like, I'm just like crushing YouTube, trying to like grow my lawn care business. Dude, we're just going 100 miles an hour. And I'm just like, yeah, I need to like kind of balance this out a little bit. So Kalfas was doing Tuesday nights or whatever. And I'm like, hey, we're doing Tuesday night date night. And I'm like, then we just realized our schedule did not work for Tuesday.
Yeah.
It just didn't work on Tuesdays. So Thursday is when we do date night. So we did date night for one time, had a blast, did the whole deal, right? Went to, I think, like Bonefish Grill or whatever. It was just like a 2-hour, just like you said, quality time.
Yeah.
No phones. The next week I come home at like 6 or 7 o'clock, and Liz was just like in like pajama mode, Liz, for the day. And I get home at 6 o'clock and I'm like, dude, what are you doing? We're going to date night. And she goes, yeah, no, that's fine. We'll do it next week. And I was like, dude, we're doing date night. And she's like, oh, like serious, like for real. And I'm like I'm like a sad puppy now. I'm like, you don't give a crap about date night? And dude, she'll tell the story. She felt awful realizing that I felt awful.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
she like was like, well, give me like 30, 40 minutes. I'll like put myself together, whatever. And
yeah.
we went out to date night the next night, but it's been a thing arguably for, a year and a half. Maybe missed a couple of nights, because of Emmy and stuff with the baby, but still like, I
That's
think
probably grown your marriage exponentially.
1,000%, dude, 1,000%. Like, at Together in the Trades, Bill Harley was like, you need 10 to 15 to 20 hours a week to build a quality relationship. And we were not getting that per month.
Yeah.
No,
There's
we
no
talked
way.
about that a lot too at Together in the Trades.
I don't think, yeah.
He said a week, which is
week.
That's hard. But
I said that was good for last year.
yeah.
Yeah.
And people think it's funny, and I laugh and you guys laugh, but it's
not at the end of the day.
It's not.
It's a serious. And you were talking about going hard on YouTube, and I mean growing a business is tough. It's hard, and it's hard on a marriage. We were actually having that conversation just the other day with Caleb and Brittany.
Oh yeah,
in the Jeep riding around, we were talking about that and how when you're stretched in 1,000 different directions, you got media companies, you got hardscape. I mean, you got storm. Yeah, they have multiple different things. Kids. Oh my gosh, kids on top of that. Multiple kids.
Sports.
Exactly.
Obligations.
And it's like, when do we make time for us?
Yeah.
Like when is that time? And it's so they were just being honest. They were like, man, like we don't do it enough.
Yep.
And it really can take a toll on your marriage. So
that's one thing that Liz and I set New Year's goals. You know, not like resolutions, but just we reevaluate our goals around New Year's, right? Like everybody else. And we said date night's a non-negotiable. We want to do a monthly family trip or just get away from everybody, everything and everybody. I don't care if it's 2 days, I don't care if it's a week, whatever. And then we also, have you guys ever followed this Instagram page? It's like 1,000 hours outdoors or 1,000 hours outside.
No, that's cool.
Yeah, it's I encourage anybody listening in. I forget the exact hashtag or the account, but if you look it up, or Google it, it's 1,000 hours outside, and it's a whole like family-oriented page to give you ideas of what you can do outside to get 1,000 hours together as a family outdoors, just like to connect with the world, nature, outside, the weather, you know, just from hiking to biking to whatever, right? And so it's like if you spend 3 hours a day outside. It just brings you together. It's just have family walks, and family park time, and people are like, well, I'm in the Midwest. It's cold. It's snowing. Well, you can still be outside for an hour. Two 30-minute increments, and then 3 hours a night in the summer, right? So they give you plans if you're in the Midwest or
That's cool.
in the polar vortex of Canada, right? But Liz and I have really, really, really tried to implement that because we were thinking last year and the year before that, like, how many times did we actually go outside? Like we didn't. We didn't.
And that's not good for you. That's not good for your body.
Your health, your immune system.
Right.
I'm like, we 2 or 3 years ago, we picked up some Trek bikes, which was like the best thing that ever happened for our relationship.
Yeah.
For real. Like they're like little $500 bikes.
Just riding around.
Dude, we biked everywhere in like 17 or 18, whatever it was. But we didn't bike in 20 or what was COVID in 2020, right?
Yeah. Well, 20 is when it started.
It's still kind of going on, but
Never
2020
ending.
we didn't bike in anything in 2020. We're all cooped up inside. I think we're all gonna die. Whatever.
I know.
2021, nothing the first 6 months. I hit Emmy, and then that we were cooped up. And I'm just like, dude, we have to get outside.
Yeah.
Check out the page. You guys might like it.
We need to.
Some creative ideas. So yours was communicate.
That's I think mine would be communication.
Okay. I like
think,
that.
I mean, it kind of goes in communication. I think for me specifically, it was making sure that our goals were the same and that we were on the same page. Because I think that's so important in the business and in marriage. Like, it makes those sacrifices and times where he's doing things I don't quite understand a lot easier and more seamless, knowing like, he has the same goal as I do, and I might not see it the same way he does right now, but I trust him, and I know that we're on the same page. So I'm on the same, I'm on board, like, let's do it. So I don't know. I feel like that was really important for me to, at the end of the day, be like, I might not totally understand, or I might not be in it, or whatever, but I know we have the same goal, and at the end of the day, we're on the same page. So it made it, like, give me more peace of mind, I think, especially for, like, wives that maybe aren't in it every day, knowing,
how it all fits together.
And just being able to trust them and know that despite me not seeing it or being as involved, that he has my best interest at heart and our families, and we have the same goals.
I like that.
So
vision for the business, I think, the goals there. You need to be on the same page, though. Your wife needs to know, do you want to grow a 30-person company or a very profitable 3-person
like
company?
you said, like with,
that makes sense.
Needing to buy that mower or whatever, like what's our goal with that? Like okay, you want it, but what's the end goal? Or like, what do you need that for? And just being on the same page about the direction and what you want for the company.
And I think the men, and this is, I know there's women out there that have the companies too, so in your case, it'd be your husband, but majority of guys listen here, I think the men need that to bring you back to earth sometimes. And, and they need the outside perspective looking in. Because if shoot, I mean, you know how it is. Equipment, nice, cool, manly, cool. Let's go get a new mower, okay?
$300 a month, let's go.
Let's go. We can do that anytime. And you would go do it and not think twice about it. That could have been the worst decision ever, though. And your wife can look at it and say, what is the reasoning in this?
Dude,
why do you need this?
Funny practical story, bro. Last night, Caleb and I were driving back from Jordan, and there's a lot of like those high-end car dealers down the road. And there's this is such a stupid tangible. This is not a good marriage advice. What I'm going to say next, little disclaimer. There's like a Ferrari out front. It's like a 360 Modena. It's a used one. It's probably like an 06. It's probably worth $100,000. And I told Caleb, I said, what if I just bought that? Just brought it, brought it home to the hype house. Just told Liz, we'll put the stroller in the front, the frunk, you know. And he's like, would that fit in there? I go, no, but that's what bungee cords are for. And,
right.
And he's like, oh yeah, okay. And I said, I wonder, like, I'm just thinking out loud, like, what would Liz say? Would she just, I'm done with you? Would she say, well, we'll figure this out, you know, which that's probably not a bad one, you know, like, well, is that like a yes?
Yeah, is that
it's not a no, you know? So I'm just like wondering, like, what would she do in these scenarios? But man, like you said,
don't do that.
Don't
listen. Do not do that.
That's my point. Don't do stuff like that. You have to have, like you said, the same vision, the same goal. Do you guys do anything specifically like we do a Sunday board of directors meeting? It's 30, 40 minutes, an hour. It's not like this formal thing, but I'm just like, hey, here's what we're doing for the week. Here's how this is planning in for the month, and this is obviously our goal for the year. We really do because. Like you said, there's so much activity going on. You have to have it make sense. Like, why are you working late, or why are we buying these things, or why does the account have $1,000 in it, and then the next minute it's got $30,000 in it?
Yeah.
I mean, there's times in the spring we're fronting $30,000.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And it's just like. It's like, and then, you know, another month it comes in, there's 50,000 in there. And she's like, well, that's our money now. I'm like, well, no. Because we got to do this, and this.
Yeah.
So is there anything specifically, no right or wrong answer, but that anything that's worked for you guys, like conversations, or once a year you guys sit down, or?
We discuss. It's honestly just an open line of discussion and communication about it. I mean, there's nothing we sit down and talk about. Savannah has access to bank accounts, though. I think that's a big one. Is she needs to be able to see at any time she wants to
what's going on.
This is what's happening. I mean, if there's $1,000, like you said, $1,000 in the business checking or $30,000 in the business checking, she needs to know, be able to look at it, because it's just as much hers. Even though she's not in it every day, we're married, we're in this thing together. It's just as much hers as it is mine.
Right.
So being open there, letting her know, and we'll have discussions about where's this money going to go, how does it need to go.
Yeah, and I think we usually kind of have a good discussion. Like I feel like at the beginning of the season, like, okay, what are you thinking for the, like, what do you want to focus on? Like, what's your goal for growth? Like, what are you thinking? What direction are you heading in? Yeah. And I feel like that's usually kind of where we stand.
But I like your weekly ones, because there always needs to be times to adjust.
Yeah.
Or even monthly for us.
Yeah.
I feel like
in 2 months,
more realistic.
something can change.
The date nights, even, not that you want to talk business on date night, but, you know, it's part of a 10-minute
segment.
Exactly. It's no different. You're like, hey, you know, like weekly check-in, how's it going? It's day 4 out of 7. Are we like doing good? And it's weird, but like, if you put your CEO hat on and you worked in corporate America, that's what they do.
You
have daily, weekly, monthly
updates,
progress reports, and emails, and you know, monthly, or I should say, weekly Monday meetings at 8 a.m. Hey, here's the marching orders for the week.
Right.
So it's like, well, why would you not treat your personal business and your family with the same level?
That's a big thing. That's a good point. Is look at the corporate world, look at bigger companies, and the principles that they're implementing in their business. You should be doing them on your level, even if you're a smaller level. Like, look at what's made them successful.
It's a business.
$1 and billion-dollar companies don't get to that point by not having weekly updates. I mean, that Ballard, Corey always talks about, he always had weekly meetings. We'd sit down with the staff and go over numbers and things and figure out what needs to adjust, what needs to change, what purchases need to be made, what needs to be sold. My goodness, it's like he said about the insurance things. He had trucks that he had insurance on they didn't even own anymore. Yeah, he was paying like almost 6 figures in insurance. You know, have you ever read the book? Last thing I'll just contribute really quick, because I don't hug you guys all day. There's a lot of people podcasting here, and I don't want to keep you guys all day. No.
Have you read the book Extreme Ownership with Jocko Willink?
I haven't read it, but that's on my list.
It's a solid book.
Yeah.
I got the chance to hear him speak live, and so he's like, they're in Iraq and they're taking over Fallujah, I think it was the big city, and I don't know if it's the capital, but it's, you know, a couple 100,000 people. It's a big city. It's a huge holdout for terrorists and ISIS and all that mess back in the day. So they're going in there and they're implementing different military strategies, number one. And then other things was they would make progress. So they'd get like a street per night, you know, for example, like a street, but literally like they had to go street to street to street, clear out a city. It was urban warfare. It was crazy. Well, at the end of this whole thing, you know, they're there for 12, 18, 24 months, whatever the campaign was to free Fallujah or whatever. he gets on like this debrief meeting with his boss or whatever they call him in the military, and he said, somebody said something along the lines of, yeah, I'm glad that we got the game plan done, right? We did the full campaign, right? We freed Fallujah. It just would have been nice, and I think Jocko was talking about this. Somebody had said it would have just been nice if we knew weekly what we were actually doing, how it contributed to the greater campaign.
Yeah.
Right? Because it was, hey, like 0 to 100, we're going in, Fallujah's a mess, we're not done until it's free. Okay, let's say 18 months later, it's free.
Yeah.
But they said the guys on the ground would have liked to know like the updates. Like how did taking this street help in the greater puzzle piece to freeing Fallujah and putting the whole campaign together?
Yeah.
So it's something that just stuck with me. I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years ago when I heard that, I said, well, like, if I'm just telling my wife, like, hey, we can't spend money this week, or hey, we can spend money this week, or whatever, like, I always remind myself, like, how does this contribute to the greater conversation of where we're going in 2, 5, 10 years?
Yeah.
Because, like, if I don't help her understand, and there's times, of course, when she needs to help me understand, then, like, how is this contributing to the greater good?
Yeah.
And so that's where I was like, dude, we have to have these board of directors meetings weekly. Like, we got to be on the same page.
Right.
And like I said, it doesn't have to be anything formal, but 10, 15 minutes really helps out.
Just discussion, yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, with your guys, of course, too, your company, I think more conversations, right? So I like
communication.
that. Communication, brother. And you guys, Liz and I were driving the other day, we were talking about, specifically about you guys, and we were just like, good for you guys to be 22 and putting yourself in these target-rich environments.
Yeah.
I mean, working in your marriage, working in your business, like, my gosh, how different probably Liz and I's life would be if we had these kind of resources 5, 10, 15 years ago, or in our 20s. So congratulations to you guys. You guys are, I'm really excited for you guys.
It's nothing of our own doing. It's just surrounding yourself with the right group of people is a big one. I mean, that's huge.
It's huge. It's everything.
And it might not be, it could be somebody in your local community.
Sure.
Go hang out with the right people.
Yeah.
Get on the same wavelength with other business owners. And people that are just succeeding in life. That's a big one. So it's an honor for us to be here. I'm very appreciative to y'all and Caleb and Brittany and Entrepreneur Academy, Hardscape Academy for putting this thing on.
Well, thanks for coming down. Thanks for blessing us. Thanks for blessing the community. We always say it's not like a numbers thing to get here. It has nothing to do with it. It's not cloud. It's not exclusivity. It has nothing to do with anything. It's just people who are contributing to the community that, I don't care if you have 100 followers or 100,000 followers. Yeah. There's people that have bigger followings here. They're not here. Not that they maybe didn't get an invite or just, hey, whatever. Yeah. But, it doesn't matter. Yeah. I want people that are trying to grow the other folks.
Genuineness. I don't know what that's a word.
Genuineness sounds like a word to me in the South.
Just being genuine with what you're doing.
And you are. And well, let's just spot it up right there. Where can people find more of your genuine content?
Genuine content. So you can find us at Growing Green Landscapes on Instagram.
Okay.
The podcast is Growing Green Landscapes podcast is the name of it right now.
Yep.
Going to be name change in the spring to the Growing Green podcast.
Growing Green podcast.
Taking landscapes out.
Okay.
Changing up the branding and stuff a little bit there, but
cool.
You search either one, it should still come out.
It'd be interesting if you sell or pass on the lawn care company 10 years from now, or 25 years from now to the next guy, but then the podcast.
The podcast is still,
you know what I'm saying? It's just this hot potato that goes to the next generation. It's like, hey man, you get the business, but you also get this podcast.
You get this podcast along with it. Yeah.
That would be like a traveling, podcast or something.
That'd be pretty cool.
I don't know.
Multi-generational podcast.
I've never heard of anything like that, but that'd be actually kind of cool.
You never know. Yeah.
Keep, pass the baton.
There's always a first.
I love it, man. Savannah, any final last thoughts you want to share with anybody while we got you?
No, I think we're good. We're just thankful
My stomach's
to
growling.
be here.
I think we're getting food. We're getting the food orders from Miss Brittany. So, all right, guys. Well, appreciate you guys jumping on the podcast. Definitely check them out on Instagram, YouTube, the podcast, everything that you guys can find with Jeremiah. It's always good stuff. How many podcasts a week, by the way? Is it 1 or 2? 2 podcasts a week. Yeah. What days?
Wednesday and Friday.
Wednesday and Friday. So make sure you guys check him out. And he's got some great episodes. And by the way, if you guys want to be a guest on the podcast as well, reach out to Jeremiah.
Yeah, reach out for sure. We're always looking for good guests.
Absolutely. You always get different folks on there that are in different regions or people I don't know and vice versa. So that's the cool thing. And I'm like, man, there's some good stuff that actually gets said on the podcast.
And different industries.
Yes.
Entrepreneurship is what I'm targeting here.
Yeah.
So if you're listening and you don't even cut grass, you might print shirts or something. Reach out.
Yeah, and I think your maximum age requirement for the podcast is under 25. You know what I mean? So, I'm just kidding. It's a kid's podcast. No, I'm just having fun. So that's awesome, man. All right, guys. Well, hey, over and out from the 2022 Green Industry Hype House down here in beautiful Siesta Key, Florida. In all sincerity, thank you to the Entrepreneur Academy and the Hardscape Academy for sponsoring this event. Just guys, I'm a huge reciprocation kind of guy. So many of you guys have bought contracts, training programs, resources, lawn contracts, snow plow contracts, whatever. Out of the abundance, we rented out this house to get a bunch of people to get together to create a bunch of content to help you guys grow. And so if you guys need any of those resources, you guys want to support, we super appreciate that. Check it out at launchpreneuracademy.com. If you want to buy contracting resources and learn how to do retaining walls and brick pavers and seat walls, I'm telling you what, the Almonds know what they're talking about. They've got some great resources as well. Check out the hardscapeacademy.com and maybe buy a training program or two. Even if you don't use it, just support it.
They also have company handbook though.
Yes.
All that stuff is on there too. So
coaching calls with Caleb, which are phenomenal. So check that out if you guys want to learn more about what they got going on, and follow them, of course, on Almond Landscape LLC. So, all right, guys, we're over and out. We're going to go do lunch, and we look forward to catching up with you guys here on the next one.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.